So, a few years ago, I decided to start this channel and hoping to do like book related videos, but uh, as if you could see on this YouTube channel, Gold Nerds Books, um, how that didn't happen because I had just graduated high school. I was 17. I thought I was gonna have time, but that didn't happen because I had got a summer job. I got went into college, and that kind of took over my life, and I just couldn't really post anything. But now that I'm like 4 years later, I'm 21 now. I just graduated college um, a few days ago, so that means I have a lot more free time to actually read and like do my own thing. So now I'm hoping to actually upload book videos to this channel much more frequently. Like I don't I don't even have a schedule or anything, but I'm just hoping to do more book videos on this channel. So I guess for this video, I've read I've read 29 books this year so far, and since in a few weeks it's gonna be halfway through the year already, which is kind of insane. So I thought I would just talk about my top 10 favorite books I've read this year so far, and yeah, so let's just get into it. So number 10 is The Buddha in the Attic by Julie Otsuka. Sorry if I butchered that. Um, I had to read this for migration literature class I had this past semester, and it's a very short book. Like you could easily read this in one sit in. And when I first started this book, I wasn't 100% sure how I'd feel about it because it just seemed a bit not my style. But once I hit a little over the halfway point, I just could not put it down. It got super good, and just I don't really know what much to say about this one because it's because all the none of the characters in this book have names, and it's just like it's like the wife or the woman or we cooked or we did this for them, and it's pretty much about this group of people from Japan gets goes migrates to San Francisco and marries these husbands who they've never met. It kind of follows their journey and how they live in that transition and all that. And yeah, this one was one of the biggest surprises for me because out of the I think 9 or 10 books I had to read for this class, this one is definitely in one of my favorites. And I of the 29 books, this one didn't make it to my top 10, and I would recommend this if you're looking for a short kind of um, book that kind of tackles the theme of migration. So that's number 10. Number 9 is The Bones Beneath My Skin by T.J. Klune. This was actually my first book by T.J. Klune, and I was really surprised with how much I liked this book. Yeah, it's like a kind of feel good gay romance, and about this main character. I can't remember his name. Nate. He moves to this cabin that his family inherited. And there he finds this kid named Artemis Darth Vader, and then there's like this protector named Alex who's kind of protecting this young girl who has like this not doesn't seem to be human, and it kind of follows how Nate like kind of joins their crew and how like they're trying to kind of escape from the government and help protect the kid Artemis Darth Vader, and it is it's it's really funny. It has like a lot of lighthearted moments, but it does have kind of it does I do really like how it had a lot of like the sci-fi kind of more adventure aspects, so it's a bit of both of those. And after reading this book, I definitely will start checking out more of T.J. Klune's books. So that was number 9, The Bones Beneath My Skin. And then number 8 is Isaac's Song by Daniel Black. And So this was a book that I mean, I know why I loved it and all that. I just don't really know how to explain it because oh um so I actually just got a little signed book plate in there. And it takes place in the late '80s Chicago and kind of follows this. I'm not even gonna really try to describe this one because I know I'm gonna be so bad at explaining it, and also it's just an LGBTQ coming of age story that takes place in the late 1980s, and I do highly recommend this book if you're looking for like any like gay LGBTQ literature fiction, and I'm pretty sure this did just come out this year actually. Um, yeah. So yeah, I'm sorry if that couldn't really explain what it was really about because I just couldn't really explain it, and if I tried, like I remember what it's about, I just can't really describe it in a way that would make sense. So that was number 8 for me. So number 7 is Scraps by Matthew Francis, and the story is by Ryan Norton and also Matthew Francis. And I actually saw a short film on YouTube that covered about the first half of this book, and it kind of ended like very open ended. Like it wasn't a cliffhanger, but like it just you wanted more. So the creators of the film said, "Hey, we're making a novel and of the full story is and all that." So this is a gay like romance novel that takes place in 2003 in rural Montana, and it's like he, so Gus is just moved to Montana, and he is like an artist. He loves drawing and how he's like trying to figure out kind of his who he is and his sexuality, and then he meets this kind of cool guy named Bridger who is just, like loves skateboarding and all that. So pretty much they meet and Bridge Gus wants to learn how to skateboard, so Bridger helps him, and then Gus like does something for him by like teaching him how to like make skateboards and all that. And I just really loved this story because the first half of this book is pretty much identical to the actual like short film on YouTube, and every chapter has like a new like illustration. Let me see if I can find one, and they like match very closely to the scene from the film. Like there's like little sketches of the story of every chapter, and just the way the second half that we did not see in the YouTube short film, like I really loved it, and I would love to see like a part 2 that covers the second half of this book for the short film, but I'm not sure if that's ever going to happen. But once again, another amazing gay like kind of romance novel and coming of age. So I do highly recommend this because it's I'm pretty sure it was like I'm pretty sure it was self-published because it says Scraps LLC for the publisher. So yeah, so number 7 is Scraps. Okay, so number 6, I read this book about 3.5 years ago, during my freshman year of college for LGBTQ literature class. And when I first read it, I just found it to be an okay book, and that's because like going into my English major, I'd only read like fantasy and kind of dystopia sci-fi books, so I didn't really have much broad like besides that. So anything that wasn't that, I kind of just find like meh. But then for my migration literature class, we had a whole list of books we could choose from to pretty much read during the semester, and then at the end of the semester make a book report on it. And I chose to do Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin. And after reading this book for the second time, I love it. It is so good, and it's James Baldwin is an amazing writer. I've read some other books by him these past 4 years and for college, and so yeah, and it's pretty much about this American guy who's in France, and pretty much his his fiance, soon to be wife, is just traveling down in Spain and Italy by herself, and he's kind of staying in France and Paris while he's waiting for her. But during this trip, he meets Giovanni, who's an Italian man, and the main character David suddenly like feels an attraction to Giovanni, and he doesn't really know why. And then he realizes why, and that he has feelings for Giovanni. But at the same time, there's a lot of internal homophobia that he has, saying like how he like he cannot like Giovanni, and like how he kind of hates himself for it. And it's called Giovanni's room because he moves into Giovanni's room, and it is a very emotional read. It's really short, but it's pretty heavy and kind of because this was written in the 1950s. I'm pretty sure because I think it was in '56. Yeah, 1956. So it's been over 50 years, and this and like for a gay book that came out in the 1950s, this is one of the better ones in my opinion. But I definitely would check this one out if you want to read more like classic gay literature from the mid 20th century. So number 6 is Giovanni's Room. Number 5 is In Memoriam by Alice Wynne, and this book I loved so much. It's about two young soldiers during World War One, and one of the guys gets drafted decides to draft into the war because he wants to kind of escape this other guy who he's crushing on because he knows like he probably doesn't feel the same way. But then to the guy's horror, the other guy enlists, and it kind of follows their relationship and friendship through World War One. And I'm not someone who reads many books that take place during wars or like historical in this kind of historical time, but I heard such great things about it and how it's a gay love story and all that, and I just decided to pick it up, and I do not regret it at all. It is so good, and it's a beautiful story between these two men and how it's. I don't know what to say without spoiling anything, but it's just a very beautiful gay like friendship and relationship between these two men during World War One, and I would highly recommend it. Number 4 is actually not a memoir, but it's like a non-fiction biography about James Dean called Jimmy: The Secret Life of James Dean. And as you can see, I tapped the hell out of it because I used this as a reference for my final and my English capstone course, and I had 2 minors, one in film studies and one in LGBTQ lit, not lit, LGBTQ studies. And as a big film person and whose favorite film is Rebel Without a Cause with James Dean in it, I just found James Dean to be a very interesting person because he was alive in the he was born in 31 and passed away in 55. So he lived in the 40s and 50s as an actor, and how he and also as a queer man, and how this book kind of explores through lots of research kind of and there's images throughout here too, and it kind of just does research on like how James Dean was as living as a queer man, and how they're through like lovers he's had and friends and co-stars, and it was just very interesting. And this was like probably the first non-fiction book I kind of read like it was a novel when it wasn't, because it's like this images and it's pretty much just a biography about James Dean and his life as a queer man, hence the secret life. And he unfortunately passed away in a car accident in 1955 when he was only 24. And if he was still alive today, I would totally like want to meet this guy because he just seems so interesting to me, and I just loved learning about who he was and kind of transported myself into the 40s and 50s, and how like he was kind of struggled to become an actor, and how like he is an actor and who like he looked up to and all that. So I know you really should take these tabs off, but yeah, Ford's Jimmy, The Secret Life of James Dean. Oh, I don't think it even said who was by Jason Colavito. So yeah, that's number 4. Number 3 is a pretty popular one, Sunrise on the Reapin by Suzanne Collins. So I'm not sure if I really have to explain why this is on my top 10 of the year, because The Hunger Games, huge part of my childhood. Like middle school, I read them for the first time. Love the books. Saw the movies. Love the movies. Um, I when the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes came out, I pre-ordered the book right away. Read it. Loved it. And then when the movie came out, I skipped my last class of the day, which was actually a film class. So I guess it kind of worked out to watch it on opening day, and so good. And then when Suzanne Collins announced she's writing a book by Haymitch about the 50th Hunger Games, I was sold right away. I didn't even have to know the synopsis. I just pre-ordered it right away. And it's a bit shorter than the 500-page Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. My Hunger Games shelf is down there, but you can't see it. But yeah. So pretty much just follows how Haymitch got reaped into the games, and how he won the games, and really dove deep more into Haymitch's life and his girlfriend, who I'm not gonna spoil it because in case you haven't read this or really haven't read Hunger Games, so this one's easily deserved to be in my top 3. Like my top 3, just cannot decide which order, so I did go in this order, but this one is, I think this one was actually better than Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, but like, and I'm so excited for the movie to come out. Over the past weeks, they've been announcing the cast, and the casting is so spot on that like it makes me so much more excited for the movie to come out next November. So yeah, Sunrise on the Reapin by Suzanne Collins, number 3. Number 2, I actually just finished earlier today, and I was gonna make this video about a day or two ago, but then I really was loving this book so much that I decided to put this video off until I finish the book. And that book is Separate Rooms by Pier Vittorio Tondelli. I'm sorry, I probably butchered that, but this is actually a novel translated from Italian, and it was originally published in 1989. It was just republished in English, and so pretty much it's about this 31-year-old man named Leo who has a pretty younger male lover who gets sick and dies, and pretty much follows the main character Leo trying to like kind of cope with the death of his partner, and it kind of alternates between like the past of him meeting his partner Thomas, like their time together, the aftermath, and kind of all sorts of like things throughout the life. And there's very little dialogue in here actually, which usually I would kind of really not like, but I was so absorbed into this like story, and I just love this book, and like I'll probably reread it sometime next few months. And when I was doing research on the author, he actually unfortunately passed away in 1991 from AIDS and /HIV AIDS. So this was published in 89. Author's not really alive anymore. Well, isn't alive anymore. And yeah, I got this through Alstora. I'm part of Eric Cervini's Very Gay Book Club, and this was this month's May's pick. And every book comes with like a vintage like gay postcard, and this one was this month's, and I think they're pretty cool because like they all have different one each month, and how like it's either like a cover of like a gay novel from a long time ago, or just like kind of probably a painting from like a magazine or something. And it's been a different one each month. I've been part of this book club since April 2023, and he does pick a lot of great books. Because actually, Isaac I think January or February's pick of this year that I read, and that one made all my top 10. But this one so far has easily been my favorite book from this book club. And yeah, I'm just, it's a very like kind of not hard read, but it's kind of has some more like harder themes to talk about, and how, and since it was written in 1989 in the late 80s, you can kind of, because like the 80s and 90s were like kind of the AIDS epidemic, and how like gay men were very misunderstood. So, and it's no secret that this main character is gay. It goes right into us knowing that this main character is gay, and has a relationship with a younger man, and how, and there's with the four by Andre Osterman, which I probably butchered that, but also the author of Call Me by Your Name, which I'm embarrassed to say I have not read yet. It's on my list. So yeah, this was just an amazing book, and if you're looking for like a very beautiful but also like kind of hard to render in queer novel, I recommend Separate Rooms. And my number one book of the year so far is The Survivor Wants to Die at the End by Adam Silvera. So Adam Silvera is my all-time favorite author. I have this whole half of the shelf dedicated to his books. I'm not sure if you can see that, but yeah, this one is chunky because the first two in the series, like the first one is pretty short, the second one got longer. Now this one's even chunkier, and this book tugged on my emotions so many times. And this is the third book. I should probably started with this, but this is the third book in the Deathcast World book series. They Both Die at the End series. So I'm not gonna really say much about this book because it's technically book 2 or 3, whatever you want to do it. Because the first one, then there's a prequel, and then this is a sequel to the main one. So I'm not sure if this would be book 2 or 3. I don't know, but pretty much it follows two boys who, one. So pretty much this series takes place in a world where it's like in the real world, because the first two takes place in New York, this one mainly in LA, and how it's in a world where there's this organization called Deathcast, and pretty much this organization knows when you're gonna die, pretty much. So between the hours of like midnight to 3 a.m., you will get a call saying, "Hey, like you're gonna die sometime today. We don't know when today or how you're gonna die. We just know you're gonna die today. So live today to your fullest. Like just live your life basically before you die." So the first two books follows gay, like two gay teenagers who meet and fall in love, and this one, and the first one, both of the guys get calls saying they're gonna die, because they're called They Both Die at the End. The prequel is called The First to Die at the End, which takes place on the first day Deathcast becomes out in the world, and there's still the two guys who are fall in love, but only one of them gets the call. And then this one, neither of them get the call, but one of them like wants to die, and he wants to prove Deathcast wrong because he waits for Deathcast to call him, but they never call him. So one night he decides to like prove Deathcast wrong. They've never been wrong before, and he tries to kill himself pretty much. And just when he's about to, he gets someone else like tells him to stop and pretty much live his life with him. And that was a very that was just not a very good explanation. But and there's gonna be the second one. Not the second one, the fourth one of this world. I think come down sometime next year. But this book, I'd be laughing one moment, then like the next page I'd be crying, and yeah, I finished this book like in less than a week, and it's massive. And I was lucky enough to actually meet Adam Silvera and get it signed. So I got to meet him for the first time. My dad and I drove 3 hours from where I live to meet him. One of the best nights of my life. I got him to sign this one and a few other ones of his books I have by him. But yeah, so that's number one. Survivor wants to die at the end, and I just love this cover. It's so gorgeous. And yeah, that was my top 10 books I've read this year so far. I'm hoping to make another one at the end of this year. But so yeah, so this is hopefully gonna be I'm hopefully gonna be able to upload much more onto this channel. Like yeah, my name is Noah, and I'm just like a huge book reader, and this is one of my. I have a shelf on this side of my room, and then also I ran out of room on my shelves, so I just have mountains of books along this side of my room. So I might, I would do like a bookshelf tour, but that would probably take 2 hours. So if you want me to do that sometime, comment that down below. But I hope you liked this video, and subscribe and like. It would really help me with growing this channel, and I'm really hoping to upload much more frequently on this channel, because ever since high school, I've wanted to have like a book related channel in addition to my other channel, Herkman G. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this video, and see you in my next video. Bye.